So I'm Christopher Gallardo with Popternative. How are you guys doing today?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good myself. So I gotta mention this because the film The War of the Rohirrim actually premiered today. Have you guys been able
Yes.
to see it?
No, but I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Um, I love the magic of the horses in Middle Earth and just in the world in general. So I can't wait to see that. And I love an animation.
Oh yeah, I love the animation style. It looks so good. But
Yeah.
let's talk about Rings of Power because Galadriel and Sauron are obviously they have this huge arc this entire season. So starting with you, Charlie, what was it like to transition between Anatar and Halbrand this season? And what other trait besides obviously being Sauron do you think they both have shared that really stands out to you?
I mean, first of all, it was amazing to be able to explore the differences between the characters, and the main thing was sort of everything on the outside, the physicality of it,
Mm.
and the vocal quality being different was really, really special. A really cool thing, a privilege to be able to do. But I mean, they share actually a lot more than I thought they did, and I think that was part of the process of going. I started by going 180 degrees, complete opposite, everything. And then working from that place and inadvertently finding that they were aligned on a lot of things. And the main thing being internally what they want to do, which is to heal and reorder and rehabilitate Middle Earth and everything that comes with that. That they are ultimately the same character, even though
Yeah.
there's quite a lot of difference on the outside.
Definitely. And the same to you, Morfydd. From Galadriel's perspective, between Anatar and Halbrand, what shared trait of his really stands out to both the character and to you?
Good guy.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very painful for her to notice that there was any of Anatar in Halbrand. Um, and so I think that moment also when they're in the fight and Halbrand suddenly appears is very confronting to her.
Mm.
Um, and I think she's quite repulsed by Anatar.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's shocking to her that someone could be so cruel. Um, and I think that it's only at the very end of the fight that she kind of accepts that Halbrand was also part of this person
Hmm.
and that she was fooled. But it's a very she's fighting herself as much as Sauron in that fight. Yeah.
Definitely. And that entire final fight in the last episode was just completely intense. And there's one part of it that really stood out to both me and fans, because in their final fight, Galadriel says that both his forms never really had anything in common, that Sauron really only deceived her with his illusions. But Sauron answers that he didn't necessarily show all of it. What do you think that means for both of you?
I I think he's saying that like the deception, I deceived you with a lot of things, but not all of it was deception. Like
Yeah.
you were
She chose not to
complicit.
see, yeah, she was
Exactly.
complicit and she chose to ignore the warning signs.
Yeah.
Um, and she was hungry for revenge
Mm.
and um
Yeah.
and she was also acting alone. Just and something about Sauron is that he is truly alone.
Yeah.
And that was her biggest error, really,
Hmm.
was to think that she could make these choices for Middle Earth.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, so in that case, do you think Sauron legitimately cares for Galadriel? Because he also said that he doesn't wish to hurt her.
I think
Mm.
cares for her isn't, I don't think that's the right way of describing it, but I would say that he feels connected to her in
Yeah.
that she operates on the same level as him and that he understands some parts of her that and she understands, sees parts of him
Yeah.
that that these are things he doesn't get with everyone else.
The way I like to see it was that like they both have like the same really intense synesthesia. So they're
Yeah.
like, you see the sky like that? So do I.
Hmm.
But they are also he's the most evil creature in the whole of Middle Earth, which is devastating for her.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that whole relationship overall is just really fascinating because fans have really loved this entire relationship between Sauron and Galadriel. And on that relationship, some fans can interpret it as this blossoming relationship. So, how do you both feel about this fascination with Sauron and Galadriel's relationship, despite the bloodshed and rage between both of them?
Well, this is what's the best thing about when a show comes out, because it ceases to be yours.
Yeah.
And kind of all our ideas about it become much less important than what they were when we were filming it. And everybody's kind of interpretation of it is just as kind of valid as anyone else's.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that we're in a show where some people are like, no, it's this, no, it's this. I mean, those are the type of conversations I love to have with my friends after I've watched something. And so I feel really happy that this is quite polarizing.
Yeah.
And I know how I feel about it, but I don't know how important that is now that it exists in the world. It's no longer ours.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You relinquish any sort of control over what it is when you release it. And I mean, I think their relationship is fascinating to watch in that it is the polar opposites, good and evil. Now it is, at least, of Middle Earth, and they'll forever be connected.
Yeah.
Definitely. And one last question. This is a yes or no question, because we heard that season 3 was being prepared all the way back in February. So is it certain that Galadriel and Sauron will cross paths again?
I would say I don't know 100%. But if I was responsible, I would say yes.
Yeah, it would be exciting if they did, because they're both changing and growing. So every time they do cross path, there's going to be a very different kind of
It's going to go down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really hope that we get to see that confrontation again in season 3, if it gets announced soon. But I just want to say thank you guys so much. Thank you, Morfydd. Thank you, Charlie. It was really great talking to you, and hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much again.
Likewise.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.